Thank you, Chrissy. Yeah, we'll change tact a little bit and we'll go to uranium. It's kind of topical at the moment with the news yesterday with Peter Dutton announcing a potential nuclear program. So, yeah, we need the uranium to feed that, and we've moved to uranium this year. So we've acquired 2 high-quality uranium projects in 2 high-quality districts. Just a quick summary on those projects. Our flagship project is the Uramba uranium project. It's located in South Australia. So it's one of the main primary producing uranium areas in Australia. Our 3 operating mines, uranium mines, all occur in South Australia. It's a paleo channel hosted system. We acquired that in January this year, and that's been our focus. And we're preparing to drill now. The rigs are mobilising as we speak, and we should be drilling by the end of next week. We've also, in April, acquired a high-grade hard rock uranium deposit in Canada called the RIU uranium project. We were able to just do a gentle deal with a prospector, acquire 130 square kilometres of highly prospective land there, and then following that in May we were able to stake the strike extensions in our own name, and that project's now 480 square kilometres, and that's located in a province called Labrador, or Newfoundland and Labrador, and Paladin Energy, they've got the £127 million Michelin uranium deposit just nearby. So here's a bit of a screenshot. So we've got $5 million in the bank at the moment, $5.5 million. So we're well funded to fund our exploration drill programs. We've got activity going on at the moment in Harrier. So market cap of about $23 million, $5 million in the bank. We're well positioned, and we're part of that excitement phase at the moment as well that has been talked about a bit this morning. We're going to be active drilling in Uramba and exploring at Harrier over the coming months. So I want to talk about our flagship Uramba project first. It's located in South Australia. It's in the district with 2 producing ISR mines. So firstly, there's the Heathgate Resources. They own the Beverley operation, and that's been continuously producing uranium for 20 years now. It's produced about 40 million pounds over that 20-year period, and they have resources of around about 165 million pounds at 2,500 ppm. So it's a fantastic deposit owned by a private company, so you don't hear much news about it. But over the time, they've initially started operating at the Beverley mine, and during that time, they've actually been able to discover 4 Mile and 4 Mile East, and they've been able to expand their operation by continued exploration success. In addition to that, there's Boss Energy. Boss Energy have recently started mining at the Honeymoon operation, where they've started producing yellowcake. They have about 71 million pounds in total resources, including Honeymoon, which is 36 million pounds at 660 ppm. So we're located immediately to the north. So Koba has 5,000 square kilometres immediately north of Boss. We hold the strike extensions to the mineralisation, and the paleo channels, the ancient river systems that host these uranium deposits, host 50 million pounds to the south of us at Honeymoon's Boss operation and the Jason deposit, and that paleo channel then strikes onto Koba's property, where we have 5,000 square kilometres and 250 kilometres of paleo channels to explore. We have a couple of projects that we're looking to start on, the first one being Oban. Oban's an historic mineral resource. It's actually JORC 2004 compliant. It's about 4.6 million pounds at 260 ppm, and we think that's a great start. I see this as an exploration play. 5,000 square kilometres is a bit of an exploration geologist's dream. It's highly prospective, 250 kilometres of paleo channels, but we've got a proof of concept in Oban. 4.6 million pounds is a great start, and we're looking to build upon that. We also have other projects, prospects, Mount John, which is immediately north of Boss Energy's Jason deposit. Jason hosts 10 million pounds, and we're just 4 kilometres to the north of that. So our initial focus, the drill rigs are preparing to mobilise as we speak. We're going to be drilling at our Oban deposit. That's where I said that we've got 4.6 million pounds, 260 ppm. But as we do more and more interpretation on Oban, we're working out that there's a lot of thick and high grade, and that's what we're looking to focus on. We're looking to turn Oban into a much higher grade and a larger deposit. My exploration manager, Mark Cousins, previously worked with a company called Cauldron Energy. And when his time there, he was able to take their project in Western Australia from about 4 million pounds to 30 million pounds. So he's working on this now, and he's looking to repeat that. So we're starting with 4 million pounds, and over the next year or two, we're looking to increase that as much as we can. And 30 million pounds is what we're aiming to achieve here at Oban. And we're doing that by detailed geological reviews and reinterpretation of the data and chasing some of these high-grade trends. So one thing that Mark's worked on and realised when doing these interpretations is he believes that these channels actually trend a bit more northeast than was previously thought. And so the high-grade uranium tends to hang, within 50 minutes of these internal channels within the greater Paleo Valley. And he's interpreted them to be striking northeast. And it's a kind of a new concept for the area. And what it's done is it's actually opened up a lot of targets. So with this new interpretation, there's a lot of areas that haven't been drilled. And Mark's very confident these high-grade trends are in this northeast direction, and they're all open, particularly to the northeast, but also a little bit to the southwest as well. So our upcoming drill program is going to be focusing on these targets and also expanding with the resource within the actual Oban deposit itself. So we're really, really looking to grow the high-grade component of the Oban deposit. So this section shows that there is a lot of high grade, and it's quite continuous as well. So the resource head grade's 260 ppm, but when you look at this section, there's multiple intersections. 2.2 metres at 2,000 ppm, 1.5 metres at 1,700 ppm. There's some really, really fantastic grades, and we believe we can expand on that and make an economic deposit here at Oban, and that's what we'll be looking to do with our upcoming drill program. This will be our first drill program, and with a bit of success, there'll be more and more as we go. And as I said, with $5 million in the bank, we're well funded to move this up that exploration curve and advance this project. So Mount John, it's one of my favourite prospects. It's hasn't got a resource and hasn't been drilled out yet. It's more of an exploration project. I'm an exploration geologist myself. Spent 20 years managing exploration programs, and 10 years of that's been in uranium. So I've got a lot of uranium experience, and this is one of the projects I really like. And it's partly a little bit of neurology. Jason deposit, owned by Boss Energy. It's going to be a satellite operation to their honeymoon operation, and it's at 10.7 million pounds at 790 ppm. So it's one of Boss's highest grade resources, and it sits in the Paleo Channel, the extension of the Uramba Paleo Channel. So it's got 50 million pounds to the south of us, and then just 4 kilometres in, as you can see on this map, the Jason, wrong button. The Jason deposit sits down here at 10 million pounds, just 4 kilometres, and you're into our property. And this is a large-scale map. So this map is 20 kilometres wide. There's been some drilling by the previous operator back in 2007 to 2009. But some of these drill holes, you can see it here, these drill holes here, they're 800 metres apart. So this is a large prospect that hasn't been well drilled, and I think it's a really, really exciting prospect. It's got some blue sky potential, and we've got an opportunity to make a discovery here. Meanwhile, we're only 17 kilometres north of Boss's producing honeymoon operation. So we've got a fantastic opportunity. If we can find a smaller deposit, there's opportunities to toll treat it at honeymoon or have a relationship with honeymoon. But if we can go out and find 20, 30, 40 million pounds, we also have the opportunity to go stand alone. And I think this is a fantastic place to explore and start, and it's got some great neurology, and it's also got some interesting uranium intersections. We're starting to get 3 metres at 230 ppm, 150 ppm, all proof of concept. There's definitely mineralisation in this system, and we're going to explore that and chase that further. So, and outside those two main prospects that we're going to be drilling in the coming months, there's just 5,000 square kilometres to explore, 250 kilometres of paleo channels. And within that, there is numerous targets. So we've got this massive pipeline of projects that we're going to start with Oban, move to Mount John, and then we're going to start at, we've got Berber, metre at 1,200 ppm there, and then we've got Yalkapu to the north. It hasn't been drilled since the 1970s. We've got Uramba North, it's got 2 metres at 500 ppm. There's just a plethora of projects to chase up here, and as an exploration geologist, it's a dream, and we're going to start exploring these over the next 6 months. As we finish up at Oban and Mount John, we'll start moving more to these exploration targets where there's real blue sky potential, and with 5,000 square kilometres immediately north of 70 million pounds, there's bound to be some extra resources within here. And this is an example of what we're doing from an exploration point of view. We've recently engaged a geophysical consultant to try and identify additional paleo channels. Now, this hasn't been aggressively explored in 10 years, and so we think there's opportunity to discover paleo channels that are previously not known. And this is one example based on gravity. And you'll see here that this is immediately to the east of Mount John. You'll see this area here is interpreted as a paleo channel in the gravity, and it goes for 25 kilometres, and it's never ever been drilled. So Mark Cousins has done a lot of good quality work here, and he's identified what looks like a paleo channel in all the geophysics we've done, and it's never been drilled. So we've recently acquired heritage approvals and all the approvals to go out and drill this, and if we put some lines into this and find a paleo channel, then we're off to the races with another 25 kilometres of paleo channels to explore, just 4 to 20 kilometres north of adjacent deposit again. So we're really excited about the potential to find early stage projects and really grow this from a blue sky potential, as well as the existing resources and previously identified prospects. As I said, we're about to drill 10,000 metres out there, which should cost us about $1 million, which will leave us with $4 million in the bank. So we're well funded, and once we complete that program, we'll be looking at the results and looking to continue drilling out there. We've got $5 million to hit this hard, and we're looking forward to drilling all 3 of these prospects this year. And once we complete that, as I said, we'll be moving the rig around the other prospects during the rest of the year. So let's move to Canada quickly. We only acquired this project in April. We acquired 130 square kilometres. It's in an Archean greenstone belt. It's potential for iron ore, copper, gold deposits, which we've been talking about this morning with the previous two guys. And they also hold high-grade uranium. And it's also got potential for the Athabasca-style uranium deposits. They produce 40% of the world's uranium from these Athabasca-style deposits, and they're very, very high grade. We actually have 9 prospects at our project that have assayed over 1% uranium. It's 10,000 ppm when you start talking in grades like the paleo channels. So they're very, very high grade. 1% uranium is equivalent in price to around about an ounce of gold. So these are really, really high grade. We've got a team on the ground at the moment. We've got 5 geologists walking over these prospects and assessing which ones are the best targets for drilling. Rob did say don't invest in companies because they've got rock chips, but you've got to start somewhere. Rock chips are the first step in the exploration cycle, and it's the ultimate level of that excitement. So by having these 2 projects, we de-risk it. We've got the drilling at the Yaramba, and then we've got the rock chips here at Harrier, and they're very, very high grade, fantastic exposure, and the potential to find a large high grade deposit. As I said, Paladin's Michelin deposit is only 50 kilometres, and that's 127 million pounds. So there's outstanding potential to find high grade uranium deposits. This is a photo from this week. My crew's actually out there at the moment. They're walking around with scintillometers. So uranium is quite an interesting thing to explore, because basically they carry this machine around and it measures your radiation. And when you walk over an outcrop that's got uranium, it starts to buzz. So then you walk a bit closer and it starts to really buzz, and then you found your uranium. Then you take a sample and send that to the lab. But what you can actually do is follow that on the ground. So you know you've got your uranium because your scintillometer's buzzing. So these 5 guys walking around in the bush along all these outcrops with their scintillometers, finding plenty of uranium. Following up on these high-grade prospects, working out which ones are the thickest and which ones will be our best drill targets. And we'll work these projects up for drilling in the future. So this is a bit of a project timeline for us. I've pretty much touched on this. We'll be drilling at Yaramba within the week. We're currently on the ground at Harrier, so we're going to be having assay results coming through from Harrier in July. We'll be having drilling results coming through towards the end of July as well. So we're going to have a strong news flow from both those projects from 2 fronts as we progress forward. And it's exciting times for us, because once we get those results in, we can quickly turn them around and plan extra programs. We've got the drilling rig locked up for quite a while now, and we'll continue to drill there after this program as well. So we've got a very experienced team. Myself, 10 years in uranium. Mark Cousins is a uranium specialist geologist, and also Mike Haynes, the chairman, spent 10 years running a uranium company. So I'm a bit of a uranium bull. We picked this project up as the uranium approached $106 a pound. It was very coincidental timing. It's fallen back off to $84 a pound now, but it's still, it's a great price for uranium, and I'm very bullish on the supply and demand curve. There's still 440 reactors around the world, 60 in production, 110 planned. So the supply and demand fundamentals are still really, really strong for uranium. I'm at booth 6. Feel free to come along, ask any questions, talk a little bit about uranium, ask about my projects. Thanks, Chrissy.